recent poll finds Brad Wallace still the country's most popular premier, even though he'll retire as the political face of Saskatchewan in late January. But he's going down swinging, particularly over the cancellation of the Energy East pipeline. Back from vacation and ready to rumble, Brad Wall joins us from Regina. Premier, the Prime Minister accused you of stoking national divisions over the weekend. Are you trying to divide the country over a pipeline?
Absolutely not, Don. What we've said in response to the TransCanada decision to cancel the pipeline is precisely what I said in advance of this particular development. We were concerned about the federal government's, I think, contrived changes to the NEB, where now they're going to subject pipelines to an upstream and downstream GHG emissions test. And I just think, and you listen to the company, you listen to economists and financial analysts who have weighed in on your sister network, BNN, yesterday, that's why that was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back for TransCanada. And we lost this nation-building opportunity to become energy independent, to stop importing oil, to create economic wealth here at home. On a pipeline, by the way, let's remember this, Don. This was 2/3 converting an existing pipeline and 1/3 new pipeline.
Right.
And so, you know, I take exception to what the Prime Minister is saying, because I guess Mr. Trudeau is saying, if you don't agree with our policies, i.e. the changes to the NEB that cost this pipeline, then you're fomenting some sort of national discord, some sort of, you know, you're not being loyal to the country. Well, that's ridiculous. This is this pipeline result, this cancellation, lays at the feet of his government, because it's not just NEB changes they've made. They've moved in terms of the energy sector proper. Obviously, they're moving on a carbon tax. They moved on methane regulations. There is a long list of initiatives they've taken that would make most Westerners and people in Newfoundland and Labrador with the big energy sector as well wonder why the federal government does not like this sector.
Let's flip that around then. Is Justin Trudeau causing national divisions and threatening national unity and stoking Western alienation by doing what you say he's done?
Well, I think most people, when he sent out that Facebook post over the weekend that you're referring to, where I think most folks out west thought he was talking to us, those who opposed his government's policies that we believe led to the cancellation of this pipeline, that others in the industry believe as well, that they were aimed at us. You know, I never heard him take the mayor of Montreal to task, who was cheering, effectively dancing on the graves of jobs in this province, the province of Saskatchewan and the province of Alberta. And so I don't know how only one part of the country that might react to a decision as potentially fomenting some sort of national disunity, and another part of the country that might say something very incendiary for the energy sector. A mayor of the city of Montreal, the city of Montreal would not be held to the same test.
Yeah, well, that's the point I'm trying to get. You say this is a nation-building project, yet it stops in Montreal. It gets fractured in Montreal. So is that not a nation-dividing initiative now?
Well, I mean, I guess the position that certain regions of the country or people or sectors of the country take on a pipeline, I don't think by definition is a project that can cause disunity. Our respective, I mean, the decisions of a federal government that would, and not just related to the NEB changes they've made on a pipeline, but generally speaking on the energy sector that I've already canvassed. I think the cumulative effect of those changes that this federal government has made would leave Western Canada wondering if this federal government values the things that we do well, what we produce, to try to contribute as we want to the country that we love.
Okay, I'm curious what you also thought. We have a new NDP leader federally, and he celebrated in Montreal the end of the Energy East pipeline too. This despite having an NDP premier in Alberta. What's your reaction to that?
And an NDP premier in BC, and maybe that's less of a surprise because the new government in BC is not supportive of pipelines either. But, you know, in our province, the main opposition is the NDP as well still, and I think we have a new Democratic Party nationally that's going further and further to the left and very sort of central Canadian centric, and I think its sister parties in Saskatchewan and Alberta will have a lot of explaining to do with their brand new leader effectively celebrating the decision, as you've noted, and I may have posted on it today already, because I think we also have NDP MPs that were elected in the last election from Saskatchewan who have some explaining to do. I think one of them, Aaron Weir, in fact, was advocating in the House of Commons for steel from Evraz here in Regina to be used in the Energy East pipeline. So he's advocating for Saskatchewan steel to be used in a pipeline that his leader opposes. So I think the NDP are I think they're split on this, not just regionally, but arguably within their own caucus federally.
Right. Well, sounds like there's some wounds in the West. Brad Wall, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Don.